Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome to Transatlantic Wrestling Talk. I am your host, Andy, and as always, joined by my co-host, Brother Dale. How we doing, mate?
Let's do the send-off, or what people do usually when they sign in. Is that a Martel move right there? I don't know. But anyway, thank you for that introduction, Andy. So we're going into WCW Slamboree 1996. I just poked at a random pay-per-view and I said, hey, you know what? I don't really remember it. I definitely saw it, and I'll get into that how. But let's take a look at pre-NWO Slamboree, and this is right before the crap hits the fan. Is that correct, sir?
It really is, yeah. As I said on the description of the video, you know, it's an exciting time for WCW. They start coming from one part, and then slowly but surely they're getting up to compete on the top table, aren't they?
Yeah, they got some momentum going. They have the Giant is the champion at this point, and they bill him as 7'4", 300 pounds. He probably is in the best shape of his life at this point. I mean, obviously, because what is he, 22, 23 years old? He looked fantastic. He's going to go one-on-one with Sting later on the night, and we'll get into that match. But I don't think that's the main talking point here. The main talking point is the Lethal Lottery. Andy, what is the Lethal Lottery?
Fuck knows, to be honest with you. I could not make any kind of sense of what they were trying to achieve with this. I mean, I know that obviously the concept of it is whoever wins the Lethal Lottery goes on to get a championship shot. It's a bit like a King of the Ring on drugs. It's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like somebody who booked this was on LSD. And then they had somebody guide them to pin the tail on the donkey to figure out how to at least rearrange a somewhat capable match. But you have tag teams starting out, and the tag teams could be split up. Now, I'm sure people are wondering, what the fuck does that mean? All right. And like, we can't really, tell, but we're going to give it to you with one simple solution. And we're just going to tell you the first match that it is. Okay, so here's the opening, okay? And if you want to get into the dark match, the American males face the Shark and Max. Okay? Who was the Shark, sir? He is our favorite. He is I would say, a Hall of Famer in the eyes of transatlantic wrestling talk. It is Earthquake, Avalanche, the Shark. With Dungeon of Doom.
He was brilliant. I love Earthquake. I thought Earthquake was one of the best big guys.
Oh, yeah. But I will say this. He had a fantastic theme song in WWE, WWF. But the American males have the greatest theme song I've ever heard in my life. When you say I'm coming, better run for cover.
Brilliant. Yeah, I like, as I said, Earthquake was just the best. He really was. Do you know what I always think? Do you know when we were watching? Wasn't too long ago. I was watching something. You know what we're like, mate. We always watch kind of random stuff as we're going through. Even stuff that we don't record, we still just watch random stuff. And I was watching one with King Mabel in it, and I was thinking in my head, like, how unlucky were you? You haven't got to work with Earthquake. Because John would have taught you a thing or two.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, it's just how you move for a big man. We always talked about how this guy would just strut around and causing an avalanche, an earthquake. That Richter scale was always at a high whenever John was around. But not because he was fat. I mean, he was large, obviously, but just the way he moved. Living the gimmick, perhaps. So, but that was a dark match. American males. All right. So going into it, this is how we discuss this whole Lethal Lottery thing. Here's the team. Road Warrior Animal, Booker T are on one side. On the other side, Road Warrior Hawk and Lex Luger.
Do you know what? And one thing I've got straight away here is I can never. We do. I
We do
can never
prepare.
watch.
We do prepare.
Yeah, we do prepare. We make notes. I cannot watch a match with Lex Luger in or take notice of his thing because I hate him. And even back then, I don't know what it is about him. He's just got one of them faces I would never get tired of punching.
That man's in a wheelchair now, folks.
I don't give a fuck. I've got no sympathy for him.
I want to know why the WWE pulled the plug on showing the Lex Luger documentary. They pulled the plug on like a week before because it was supposed to debut last 4th of July. They have not given an explanation for it. I demand to know it.
They still haven't put the thingy one out there yet either. British Bulldog.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe they just don't want to do it because Harry Smith's not there.
Yeah.
Because remember, about 6-7 months ago, wasn't he teaming with Austin Theory in dark matches for SmackDown? I think that could have been like, hey, if we keep him here, we could air this. I mean, yeah. I don't understand what that would mean, and like I would really like for somebody to like at least explain what the hell that means. But anyway, Lex Luger, let me tell you something, dude. All I hear is That's all you hear between a chop, a power slam. You could do any type of move. You could do a Hurricane Rana, and he'll do the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just who taught him that?
God knows, he's just shite. He was shite then, he's still shite, and I don't have no sympathy. I mean, people say he was in a wheelchair and he's found God. Well, at the end of the day, he needed to find God because he was an evil bastard.
I'm not laughing at the wheelchair thing. I'm just laughing at the fact that it's like, hey, look what you did, and you probably caused Miss Elizabeth's death. But we shouldn't talk about that. You know why? Because we don't. There's two people that don't even give a crap about this match, and that's Hawk and Animal themselves. They never.
I thought you were going to say us then.
Oh yeah. And you know what's funny? Because they're like competing, and there's Booker T in there looks great. Her Booker T has always had that body. He's just a professional, man. And like watching.
Do you know what I noticed there though is Booker T there doesn't look too much older than Booker T now.
Hell no. He looked oldest when he did his King Booker run, which was, let's face it, awesome.
Yeah.
Do I feel like Sharmell is a Hall of Famer? I don't like talk about the Hall of Fame because I think Hall of Fame is just stupid now. Excuse me, it's dumb. Because there is no actual one like we talked about last week. But there's a double count out that goes on for this match. So all four of these guys are done with the lethal lottery. Yeah. Now you're probably sitting to yourself, wait a minute. So are they out of the tournament? This isn't really a tournament.
One thing that I did like on this though is the way they kept Animal and Hawk away from each other. I thought they'd done that really well, and the way that the two of them kind of helped each other at certain parts, and I really liked that. I really did like it, and also it set us up for something that we'll discuss in another match in a minute. But yeah, double count out, both of them out, and that was the end of that. And then we had Public Enemy coming next to the most work stealing. Oh, they steal the living, didn't they? For a long time.
I gotta tell you, man, and that's why for all the Facebook followers out there, when we watch this, I took it upon myself to say I have to put these guys out there getting their asses kicked by the APA. And you could even talk with there's a shoot interview with Bubba Ray about how they totally disrespected the Dudleys in the ECW, which is like, how does that happen? You know, and then they'll tell you this whole story. Look it up, guys. It's just very interesting because they sold finishers and just didn't care. All they wanted to do was dance. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I know that people like Rocco Rock more than Johnny Grunge, and Rocco Rock had some pretty good ability. They face
probably the most shocking tag team you'll see in Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit.
This was just all about Kevin Sullivan not giving a damn about Chris Benoit. They didn't give a damn about this pay-per-view. The finish of the match is probably one of the funniest that I've seen. They set up Benoit on a table. This didn't look good, by the way. They set up Benoit on the table, and Johnny Grunge is it Johnny Grunge?
Yeah, does the
Yeah.
flip, doesn't he?
No, Rocco Rock does the flip, but Johnny Grunge is on the outside ropes. Jericho, hi. You have Benoit laying down on the table, and Rocco Rock does a flip to go into Johnny Grunge to fall into Benoit, and it looked like a bad bump. Tables break your falls, but they don't break two men that probably accumulate to like 450, 500 pounds smashing down on you. The best point about it, though, is seeing Kevin Sullivan's face walk away with, I don't give a crap.
Yeah, go, ow, me leg, Jimmy. Oh, brilliant.
Okay, so there's two matches right there, and it just shows you that these participants don't give a damn about this. Some do. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But, Flyboy, Rocco Rock, and Johnny Grunge advance table spots. White people are dancing in the crowd like this. Na, 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 na. So,
and then we move on to the next one. It goes from bad to worse, but at the same time, it goes from bad to worse. But there's a good little bit in this as well. So, we had Rick Steiner and Beefcake. I'm not calling them anything else but Beefcake. I refuse to. Versus Sergeant Craig Pittman, Booty Cake, and Scott Steiner. Now, what I was saying about where they kept Animal and Hawk away, the Steiners went on it. And I really like that kind of dynamic of, everyone probably thought, oh, they'll keep these away from each other, but they didn't. They went at it. And it was relative to their characters, relative to the stuff, like that bit.
And the crowd was into it. The crowd was so into it too, Andy. When Rick got tagged back in, and the crowd was like, oh, like there was a good pop there. And we're going to talk a little bit about audio here. It was almost like the pops for WCW, the ring mic was definitely leveled up a lot more than WWE.
Yeah.
And then you'd have the crowd kind of do more of a loud hush or like that. You would hear it a lot more. So definitely different. If you knew exactly, if you flipped the channels and didn't hear the announcers and you closed your eyes and just heard the crowd, you knew who was who. You heard WCW and then you heard WWE.
Yeah.
Rick Steiner has one of the most underrated clotheslines I've ever seen. Scott Steiner looked fantastic in this. Just the way they move was just awesome.
He just looked like his Hasbro, didn't
he? Yeah, he did. You're right. Which I'm still looking for the arm for. So if anybody has that right forearm, guys, for Rick Steiner, please let me know because I'm cheap.
But yeah, anyway, Rick Steiner and the Booty Man go over the.
Do you ever think you'd say that?
No, but I suppose the guys want me to say it, so I will do. Yeah, this whole character here was just a shit. Oh.
But Kimberly Page was not.
No, the Booty Baby was great. I will call her the Booty Baby. I've got no problem with that.
She looked awesome, dude. Didn't she? I'm like watching her. I'm just like, I saw a picture of her just recently. I'm just like, when these people take care of themselves, they look fantastic forever.
Yeah. Shame that we look like shit compared to when we were in our 20s.
Come on, dude. Without even kidding. Look at this. I have a gray patch. It looks like somebody nutted on my chin.
You sure they didn't? Where's Jess?
No wonder why I fell asleep with my pants down to my ankles last night.
Yeah. And then we move on anyway, and the matches come here, guys, thick and fast. There's 15 matches on this pay-per-view, which is just far too much, but we will go through them all, but we are going to rattle through some of them, and then we'll probably talk a little bit longer about some of the other ones. Next, we had another thingy, Vincent Kennedy Wall Street and Jim Duggan versus the Blue Bloods, William Regal and Squire David Taylor. I like this match, I'll be honest. I did like this match. The only thing I didn't like is I don't like Mike Rotunda in a singlet.
Oh, it was so weird. I think after he was Mike Rotunda from the Varsity Club, he was just like, nope, Well,
Yeah,
I just need to go by letters and acronyms now, guys. I'm too good
yeah.
for that. I'm too good for full names. VK Wall Street, Knights knockoff of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, teams up with that cheating thug, Jim Duggan, with the taped fist that somehow
Oh,
are.
roll it around and I hit it, and it's yeah.
I'll say this though, he's got that old school over exaggerate every single movement that I have to get the crowd into it, and he does it
Mm,
perfectly.
yeah,
So we love Duggan here. We've done a few of his matches, quite a few actually.
yeah.
But this does not do any justice for William Regal or Dave Taylor for the Blue Bloods. So
No,
they end up
no.
losing, and it's really weird that a tag team loses like that. I don't know. Like I just don't like an actual established tag team just loses to
Yeah.
people that hate each other. I didn't like that.
No, and do you know what? This is the common theme throughout this whole tournament or whatever the friggin' hell it is. This clusterfuck of like a lot of it just doesn't make sense, and yeah, it's just crazy. Like it really is. But we'll move on anyway. Our next match, obviously, as we said, Wall Street and Duggan, or IRS Rotunda, whatever you want to call them, and Jim Duggan go over
our
on that
next
one.
our next match are 4 first timers here, folks. 4 first timers here.
Disco fever.
Yeah, with Alex Wright, that's Wonder Kid, going up against Dirty Dick Slater and Sir Earl Robert Eaton. Yeah, this is the first time saying Bobby Eaton's name. Rest in peace, Bobby.
Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah,
I love Bobby in this. I like Bobby in general. Do you know what? I never was a massive fan of Disco, but I wasn't like I didn't dislike him either. I always thought he was just all right.
Yeah,
And I liked the character as well. I did like the character. It was something so unique, wasn't it?
he is smart for this business, man. He
Mm.
knows. I mean, the guy booked WCW for a while, and like I said, I sent you an email the other day. I sent you a message. I write into that show pretty frequently, but I don't dredge them with all this crap, you know.
Yeah.
But I did ask them a legit question, and I asked about Tank Abbott being booked. Like, was Tank Abbott the original idea for the 3 count superfan? And Disco said, I wrote that for Tank because he was just an entertaining person. And Conan said this guy just knew how to entertain people and would dance at the bar, just was like a comedian, tell jokes. He was larger than life, Tank Abbott. But I had no idea that Tank Abbott actually sued WCW for making his personality look bad.
Crazy. Well, Dick and Rob go over here.
Dick and Bob.
Dick and Bob go over here. And they progress to the next round. And then we've got another lethal lottery. See, this is one of my things here. I will get into this, but there's some really good matches on this card that could have broke up this bullshit. But they kind of just threw them in like at the end, and it was just like, oh, do you know what I mean? It just took so much over the Pearl pay-per-view. It was just, I think it was me. By the time I got to the end, I'd be exhausted.
It was a marathon because there was no filler in between these matches.
It was just like, bump, 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 bump.
I'm pretty sure AEW books their pay-per-views just like this, except this was about 3 hours, and AEW pay-per-views are like 4, and then like 5 with including the buy-in. So, aren't you happy that we finally get that the Young Bucks versus the Hardy match? So we're gonna go, yeah. So I think they're titling that what, Gymnastics versus Geriatrics.
Fucking should be fucking shite. Won't even be watching it. Anyway, let's go back to the tournament yet again. So we've got Diamond Dallas Page and the Barbarian versus Meng and Hugh Morris. Some crackers in this match, though, isn't it?
It was weird to see Diamond Dallas Page come out there and then Barbarian out there. I love the Barbarian, dude. I think the Barbarian is one of the most underrated characters out there. He's facing his partner, King. Jesus. Meng, from Faces of Fear. You know what? He is King. He was King Haku, right?
He was King Haku.
So there you go. So they're opposite sides of each other. I believe Faces of Fear was Hugh Morris, a jobber. And what's he most notable for?
Hugh.
Hugh Morris.
Remind me. Remind me.
First victory that Goldberg had,
That's correct. That is correct.
and also being a piece of crap to
So
everybody training.
it was his fucking fault.
I thought about this. Actually, it's funny you bring that up. I thought about this. The Goldberg thing was cool, the streak, but it ruined the business because everybody now thinks that a loss will kill you.
Yeah. And it won't. I just can't stand Bill Goldberg. I think he fucking stole a living. I don't like him at all. Didn't like him ever.
You sound like Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Brett has every right to be. Brett is so right about everything here.
Right. Well, Barbarian and TDP go over on this one, and it was really, really good match. I thought it was the best one we'd seen in the tournament so far.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're happy for them to go on. Next, we had Fire and Ice. Yeah. Talk about big man. Two very, very good big men here. Big Bubba and Stevie Ray. Really good big men.
Stevie Ray. I like Stevie Ray a lot. I just don't like the fact that he killed Rick Martel's career by literally almost making him paralyzed on the flapjack. People don't know that. People think that it was just constant quad injuries against Booker. And Martel had a good run in WCW when he made that comeback. The problem is that they pushed him as a babyface, and he was acting very heelish. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, do you know what? He was unlucky, Martel, just in general, wasn't he? Because he was great in the AWA, and then he just never reach them heights on the top level.
Him and Razor on that Monday Night Raw in '93 was fantastic. By the way, guys, we talked about Scott Hall passing a few weeks, last month, or a couple months ago. But I will say, go to see the Coliseum video that was released in '93 or '94 about Razor Ramon. It's one of the coolest parts of New Gen. People could say whatever they want. We've gone into a lot of New Gen stuff. Look into that. And you're going to see a lot of stars that are in this pay-per-view on here. And the matches that we like on this card are from that. They're from people in here. So check it out, guys. But anyway, Stevie Ray, he was the other guy that, had the cower when Booker T had to say that he was coming for Hulk Hogan.
I'm coming for you. Something.
Yeah, pretty much. So, so we got Fire and Ice over. Scott Norton and who is it? Ice Train, right?
Ice Train, yeah.
Yeah, so Scott Norton just looking fantastic. World-class championship arm wrestler. So, we're going to go into a fun little match here. And I got to tell you, it's probably the funnest thing on this whole pay-per-view. Ric Flair and Macho Man are at odds ends, and they just hate each other. Flair's been, Macho Man wants to attack and kill Flair each chance he gets. But somehow they're tagged together in this pay-per-view. And you see Macho Man literally chasing after his own tag team partner. They're facing off against Arn Anderson and Eddie Guerrero.
And this was stupid. This was stupid.
Why is that?
Because why on earth, if you are Ric Flair and you're trying to get a World Championship match, would you turn around and turn on your partner that can't be replaced by somebody else and then just turn out, woo, all made up with yourself? It just doesn't make sense. It's stupid. You'd wait until the final or until, say, there was a match, like you'd have, say, for the semi-final. I'm not going to say who wins just yet because we're not up to that point yet, but it's like, where you get to the final part, and it's have him face Arn Anderson then, have him beat up Randy Savage, and then have Arn Anderson lay down and take the pin for him so that he goes into the final against Savage, who's now beat up and probably won't be able to compete against him in the final, and then Flair wins. Why do it here? It doesn't make sense.
Right. And I get that. It's just so funny because it just shows how awesome Macho Man was and forever will be. It adds that tenacity that he always had. And Flair sitting there with Miss Elizabeth the whole time, just being like, hey, I'm going to be stirring your yogurt. But I get it. But and like the whole Arn Anderson thing, like you just
Mm,
said, that could have been like the finger poke of doom before the finger poke of doom
yeah, yeah,
on this. On this, I don't know, man. I just like I agree, but it's good to see Eddie Guerrero with that great mullet back then.
yeah.
He what he must have been 6 months out of ECW at this point.
I loved Eddie Guerrero in the WCW days.
Yeah, I mean he would only get better and better.
So well groomed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he had that like nice fluffy pillow perm mullet,
He did.
so it kind of flowed, but this one was just long and he was great. Hey, did you know
Mm,
that did you ever hear the story about Muhammad Hassan telling him not to use the camel clutch?
yes.
It's the funniest story in the
I
world.
know.
Meanwhile, the people thought that Eddie was pissed off at him. Eddie was like, "No, man, it's cool. My dad made that up." He's like, "That was my dad's finisher." But you know who started that crap? Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle told Hassan, he's like, "Yo, you got to tell him." It,
Well, in this one, obviously we know the finish. Flair and Macho wins, but Flair beats up his partner in round one.
and the chasing continues. It's like
Yeah,
Peter Griffin and the chicken.
yeah. It goes on from here throughout the show. Miss Elizabeth and Woman are there with them, and they're celebrating, and
Yeah.
yeah, it does make sense. I think also in '96 here, I still believe WCW hadn't figured out. You can tell that Bischoff isn't running it yet because the way that they go, Miss Elizabeth, his ex-wife, and all this stuff with the story with him and Macho and that, they're still trying to appease wrestling fans rather than the wider audience. They haven't got
Yeah.
to that point just yet.
Yeah. This is going back to what? WrestleMania 7?
No, it's after that, isn't it? WrestleMania 9?
Well, yeah.
9 or
Seven, no,
10?
7 or 8. Because
No, it's
that's
no, 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 no. Because remember Flair and Macho with WrestleMania 8.
perfect. That's what I'm saying. So like Flair and
Oh,
Macho.
sorry, I thought you meant yeah.
No, so that it's almost like a continuation of that. And it's like
Yeah,
almost like those pictures that Ric Flair superimposed with Miss Elizabeth.
yeah,
It's like it all came to life. Like it was just like, oh no, that was real.
yeah, yeah.
And there's Woman, by the way, looking fantastic. We love you, Nancy.
I know. Very sad. Well, then we move on to the next match. The next match, which should have been done well before then, was Dean Malenko defeated Brad Armstrong in a WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Really good match. Really, really
Absolutely.
good match.
For a 9-minute match, not
Yeah.
under just short of 9 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Like Brad Armstrong, I was just reading something the other day in the show. He was the wrestler's favorite wrestler. Look at what this guy could do. I mean, he's cruiserweight here, and then never really got that. They said that if you mixed in his persona with his brother, Brian,
Yeah.
you would have the best wrestler in the world. And it's just funny because it goes to show you, it's just like, wow, these lineages, people don't really realize. Like Bullet Barb Armstrong was his dad. It just shows you just how amazing like family legacies are. And these are probably one of the more unspoken about, because what did Road Dogg really do? Fantastic on the mic, knew how to get people going. I mean, we talked about it last week with his pay-per-view, or a couple weeks ago with the Rockabilly.
Yeah.
Oh no, no. Oh my God, Andy. So Rockabilly and Jesse James faced each other a few pay-per-views ago for us. Last week, we watched Over the Edge. Billy Gunn faced Road Dogg.
Yeah. I know we've got his brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match was so good. It was really, really good. If you me and you, we both like a good technical wrestling match as well. Don't want it across the whole pay-per-view, but we like to have these matches in here. This was one of them. Really, really good. My only criticism is it could have come a bit earlier in the pay-per-view, give us a bit of a break from all this lethal lottery shite.
It gets better. It gets better, folks. It does get better. But I will say, Malenko, let me tell you something. Malenko is just a true professional. Armstrong just looks fantastic. Probably one of the best physiques because he looks like a heavyweight, flies like a cruiserweight, works like Owen and Brett. Nah.
Yeah.
I'll pipe that down. But he was technically, he was very
He was
sound.
so good. He just didn't have no personality, which was never going to translate to the masses, unfortunately. That was
Nope.
all it was with him.
Nope.
Um,
Lethal Lottery next match.
Go back to it again. Dick and Earl, Dick and Bob defeated Wall Street and Jim Duggan when Jim Duggan hit Wall Street. Just an absolute clusterfuck.
Yeah.
WCW doing here what WCW done a lot, which was use the pay-per-views to set up television.
Yeah. I'd rather that than, let's just throw shit at a wall and let's see if it sticks, and bring in some Japanese guys to, make 4 people happy.
Yeah.
I know I'm lowballing it here, but I don't look forward to that. I'm sorry. I'm not, you might be watching it. I don't care. I'm not going to watch that crap. No. Does anything, just to bring into real time real quick, anything excite you about next, I guess it's next week, right? The pay-per-view?
The Owen Hart Cup. I don't really think it should be there, but just because his name's attached to it, I'm always going to have a sentimental thing to it.
Tony got you hooked, didn't he? You sipping that Kool-Aid?
No, to be honest with you, mate, you could turn around and somebody could call it the Owen Hart Memorial fucking podcast and I'd watch it just because got an emotional thing to Owen Hart, do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean I'm going to watch the pay-per-view now. I'll watch the fucking highlights on YouTube and catch up with who won it and see if they actually do a good job of remembering Owen Hart.
Yeah, maybe we'll have less of CM Punk actually paying tribute to his brother in every single match and copying everything. Not that that's an issue, but it's just like we get it. Every little move, between the head nods and the. I'm sorry, but did Jim Ross say, "Wow, he went into the turnbuckle a la Bret Hart to pay homage to a move getting done to somebody the other day"?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
What the? I swear to God.
Segue. Fuck them. Right, so we had obviously Wall Street and Duggan. That was going to carry on TV, which is what they'd done. Then we had Public Enemy defeated Ric Flair and Randy Savage. What a surprise. Ric Flair's running down the aisle. Randy Savage comes out and fucking hits him. Double count out. But the match hadn't even begun.
It's like, let me tell you something. It's like the ring is a mouse. A cat was Ric Flair. A giant vicious guard dog was Randy Savage.
Well, can I just ask a question? What happens here, right, is how on earth... Why did the Public Enemy not go to the next round?
They did.
They did not.
They were in the battle. Well, they're in the Battle Royal.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he was in the Battle Royal. I apologize.
We'll get into that, folks. People, guys, if you're not watching this or haven't watched this pay-per-view, there's a Battle Royal.
Yeah, just don't watch it. It's not worth it. That's why we watch it, so you don't have to. We've suffered so that you don't have to. But yeah, then we have Diamond Dallas Page and Barbarian to see Rick Steiner and the Beefcake Man.
Not a bad match. Only because they know that they have to take it home because they spent so much time. Like they didn't need to interview.
So the one thing I'd say is the two of them the people in this match look a bit more upbeat. And what you've got to ask yourself, Dale, is that because they want to put a good match on and because they're made up that this clusterfuck's over?
I think they're getting paid per match. I think they're getting paid per match.
Interesting.
At that point,
interesting.
That's what I think.
Okay, well,
I will say this. You said it before, and you're spot on. The pay-per-view set up TV time. They actually had Ric Flair talk crap to Mongo McMichael, who comes out and brings out Kevin Green.
Yep.
Okay. Kevin Green passed, I believe, last year. He was actually, the guy was made for wrestling too. Very good NFL player. Mongo is a legend. I hope everything goes okay with him. And that's actually when we see Mongo was made for wrestling, by the way, too. He was. And he'd bring him out, and this kind of starts an angle, but then somehow they become friends. You'll see. Everybody's all happy at that point. North Carolina.
This next one made me happy. The champ himself, Conan, against Justin Thunder Liger for the United States Heavyweight Championship match. Bravo, guys. I just want to say thank you for saving the pay-per-view. If you want to go and watch this pay-per-view, guys, skip through all the rest of it and watch this match. Brilliant.
Conan, the things that he was doing. This guy knows wrestling in and out. He knows the business. Take whatever he says and don't take it with a grain of salt. Take it word for word verbatim. Look at what he's doing to Liger here. Okay, and Liger's awesome. Liger's a legend. This is the first match I think we've done for both of these guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you see the way that Conan's doing these forearms rubbing against the face, and you feel that with a mask, but it's so protected. So it just looks good. It's convincing. He does this Alabama slam that looked so clean. And the best part about it is that Jushin Thunder Liger knows how to sell and look. I've never seen, you ever see masked emotion? You get it here.
Yeah.
You can't even see his mouth. It's just awesome.
Yeah. And the finish was great as well, wasn't it? Really, very creative finish.
Yeah. Conan looked fantastic. There's a reason why Conan was who he was and was a mouthpiece and ran AAA at that. I think he didn't run it at that point. He was a heavy influence at AAA, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to realize smart business people hire people that have ins and outs. And he had an in with AAA. Great match. Probably the best one on the card.
Yeah, 100% agree.
And I never would think about that. 2022. That's what we're talking about. This Conan Jushin Thunder Liger match, awesome. Yeah. Not just saying that because of where this is in the pay-per-view or the pay-per-view that it's on. Holy crap, this was great.
Go back and watch it, guys. If you want to watch anything off this card, then just cherry pick this match. And then we come to the finale of the Shithead Lottery. Spoiler, Dallas Page wins it. That's all I've got to say.
I thought this was good. You have the Battle Royal, and then afterwards you have the two people that are last fighting a match. And Barbarian was big, and you thought he could win it. Diamond Dallas Page wins, guys. Diamond wins the ring, and he earns himself a title shot. But it's not really lucky against who he's facing. Is that true?
Nope. Because he faces against, well, one thing I'll say about Paul White here, or the Giant, whatever you want to call him, he's green as fuck, isn't he?
Yeah, but in that promo with Jimmy Hart, he's reciting his. Yes, I actually liked it because he was reciting lines, but he just, you knew that there was fear.
Yeah,
like it was, and
like nerves.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Sting is going one-on-one. All right, Lex Luger has to be handcuffed to Jimmy Hart because you need that. I love this match. This was, and I got to tell you something. This was one of my favorite Sting matches ever.
Interesting.
Let me tell you why. Okay, Sting fighting up, and Shivani actually. By the way, the announcers for this: Heenan, Dusty Rhodes, Shivani. We've talked about Dusty being on the mic. They had an exhausting job to do to put over these participants that were subpar.
Yeah,
they did a good job. Shivani was just sells Sting like nobody's business. Right now, you do hear it a little bit, but Sting, never mind. Anyway, Sting fighting up could be one of the best to do it, especially against somebody like Paul White. I just love the fact that when I'm watching this match, every time there was punches, this crowd got so hot. This crowd ended up just like, oh my God, like Sting's actually could win this because he's pulling it off. Sting doesn't really look weak here either. And the ring psychology here, because you still have Luger handcuffed to Jimmy Hart. They go to the outside, and the Giant's about to choke slam Sting onto a table. Luger places Jimmy Hart on a table
Mm.
and makes the Giant think about it.
Yeah.
Come on, like
Yeah.
that. Who thought of that?
No, it was
Wasn't
good.
wasn't Luger?
No, it's definitely fucking Conan or someone like that.
Yeah, I think I also think Sting probably told him to do that, and
Yeah, yeah.
Jimmy Hart too.
Yeah, I liked the bit as well where the Giant goes down and Sting falls and headbutts him
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the nuts, like
No,
really good.
and the Giant was just this ultimate force at that point too. So it's like, oh my God, he might actually win. Sting might actually win because they still kept Sting strong. You know
Hmm.
what? You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say it. This is my favorite Sting match of all time.
Oof, don't know. It's a good one, really is, but I don't think we're up at the top end with it.
Who's up there then?
I think there's one with Flair.
All right. Eh, I don't want to automatically say Flair because Flair could fight a mop and look good.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. This yes, let's do it. Absolutely.
We're just
She's
gonna
one of
have
the
that popping
worst.
out. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's get her out of here, please. She's just
yeah.
awful.
And I like the ending as well, but again, the ending was setting up TV, wasn't it?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
the fact that it was like, did Luger hit him? Did he not?
Yeah. The whole thing was that he just took the megaphone that Jimmy Hart had and accidentally hit Sting.
Yeah.
And who knows? Luger's going to probably join the Dungeon of Doom at that point.
Uh-huh.
I guess it was
So,
Dungeon of Gloom with that guy in it.
So, as a pay-per-view at Hall, what did you think of this pay-per-view?
Wasn't the best, but I will say that there's strong points, and I will give this a 5. Now, I would say there's watchability factors in it. Okay, yeah, those crappy lethal lottery matches go quick, but Malenko Armstrong, Conan Liger,
Yeah.
this final match was awesome. Even at watching the Steiners face each other was very fun.
Yeah.
Seeing Hawk and Animal not give a damn about this tournament. The Benoit bump was bad.
Well,
That was so bad.
I'm gonna give this match the same amount as how many good matches are on it. 3 out of 10.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm gonna give them that for them 3 matches in particular. But the whole pay-per-view confused the life out of me. It was so fucking all over the place. And I'm like, okay, well, who's still in? Who's out? Then you had me and Gene, who didn't even know what he was doing with his envelopes everywhere. And he's like, well,
Oh yeah. Who were they? The Hooters girls, right?
yeah, just looking like he was a snazzy little nonce. Yeah.
I don't blame the guy. Look,
No, I
I'll
don't
tell you,
at all, but
he's trying to make chicken. He's trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit with this.
Yeah, and that's why as I said, all in all, for me, it was just it was a clusterfuck, and it was so hard to keep interested in. Don't get me wrong, some of the matches got you interested in, and it was back to the shite, and then you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So it's 3 out of 10 for me. It's got to be.
I got Andy sick from making him watch this.
You did. Well, we still go, don't we, lad, as always?
No, we still do. That's right. I will say though, do you think, or let me ask you this, do you think that this pay-per-view in particular makes Tony Khan book all of his battle royal ladder match, hat on a hat, -1, getting chased by QT Marshall around the ring with his pants down his ankles, House of Black bullcrap? Do you think it stems from this pay-per-view?
Yeah, I think they're going down the route of the old, for some reason, I don't know how they've ended up here, but they are going down the old WCW, NWA style shite.
I'm done. You looking forward to anything? You looking forward to anything on that next week?
If Punk wins the championship, maybe. I think he needs to.
Yeah, good. Then we'll have less political Punk coming out there with his stupid shirts. I don't care what your politics are. Keep them out of wrestling.
Yeah,
stop.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. We've had some really good viewerships over the last couple of weeks. It's been really pleasing. We're really seeing that to see a bit of a build on each week. So we really appreciate you, and we appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave us some comments, guys. We'll start reading them out each week, as you can see, with our fancy dancy new system we've got. We can pop what we want in there.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Last time we were live streaming, during the live stream, we were going to walk out with our titles and put them on Johnny Ace's desk.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to suspend us, right? But they're not firing us, but I think they might suspend us. So, we'll see.
Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you again same time next week. Well, it might be Saturday, it might be Sunday. As you know, we just fucking stream when we want. So, whenever we're there, hit the notification bell and it'll let you know when you're there and we can join us. Okay, until then, take care, guys. Bye. Ooh.